So this is going to be the 15-minute express. We have like a 2+ year journey that we're going to try to take you guys through here in the next 15 minutes. I'll introduce myself first. I think we have an intro slide with our beautiful faces on it. My name's Quinn Agan. I'm Vice President of Business Development at Omelia. We are a conversational AI company that provides the entire stack of components that you need to bring a voice assistant to life. So natural language understanding, speech to text, text to speech, generative AI, the whole 9 yards.
And I'm Rocky Yost, Director of Data Science and Machine Learning at Yum Brands. My responsibility has been to deploy for the last almost 5 years large-scale AI solutions across all 4 of our brands globally. So Yum Brands, we have what we say are 4 iconic brands. We've got Taco Bell, KFC, Pizza Hut, and Habit Burger. And we've decided, we actually selected Taco Bell to be our first foray into voice AI at the drive-thru. For one, it's a bit of an innovator. I mean, Taco Bell has been around for quite a while. It's been started by Glenn Bell in the 1960s in California. Fun fact, we actually saved the original Taco Bell. We call it numero uno. It was going to be demolished, but we literally moved it from its foundation and parked it in our parking lot where it sits today. Don't know what we're going to do with it, but it's still there. But since that #1 store, we've grown to over 7,500 restaurants in the US and growing internationally as well with over 1,000 restaurants, servicing almost 43 million customers a week. So getting voice AI at the drive-thru is critically important for us. To make sure it scales and to make sure that the customer interaction is spot on. Quickly, I'll walk you through our agenda. We're going to talk about some of the phases that we went through in terms of vendor selection, the process of testing and onboarding, and then ultimately rolling out the solution. And then some of the things that we learned along the way that were critical for maintaining that and scaling that solution. But also, really, I think the last bullet there talks about 2 of the 3 major pillars that we had for this project. For one, optimizing the back of house for the customer and the team member experience is critical. Given that 70% of our interactions with our customers happen at the drive-thru, and 43 million of them a week, it's critically important that we get that right. And we know that when we enhance and improve the customer experience and the journey, that also ends up helping the team member. But then conversely, we wanted to help the team members as well by removing mundane tasks that they don't have to worry about doing so they can focus on the customer. That also helps because it creates retention and that creates a better customer experience overall. It's also part of our overall digital journey. Yum Brands now earns about $30 billion in sales, about 50% of total revenue through digital-first channels, and our goal is to eventually be at 100%. So our journey began, not surprisingly, over 2 years ago. A program this large, this important, takes some time. We did a robust vendor selection process. We eventually landed on Omelia for their track record of success and specialized in voice automation. From there, we actually deployed the solution inside what we call our Red Labs. It's our innovation lab out in Plano, Texas, where we're able to actually recreate all 4 of our different brands' kitchen concepts and then deploy different types of technologies that we test out before we put them into an actual physical restaurant. And then eventually we deployed it into a restaurant. The way we test and POC things at Yum is we usually select 1 or 2 restaurants. We measure to make sure that the things we expect to have happen, and then also learn some of the things that we just didn't expect, maybe new KPIs that we weren't aware of at the time of planning. With what we found in our POC, we decided to expand that, adding more stores. And now our goal is to roll out to hundreds more stores by the end of this year. But one of the things that we learned is in order to scale the solution and to maintain it, we had to learn a different process. I mean, today you teach someone how to run the POS in front of the drive-thru. Now we're taking that responsibility and we're putting it into a centralized system, a voice AI system. So we needed to make sure that it can actually stay up to date with our menu innovations, the names of our products as they come out, but also continue to fine-tune the relationship or the engagement between the customer and then the AI. The conversation flow is constantly being innovated or optimized and worked on. And we're adding new capabilities too. We want to, over time, personalize that entire experience. As of today, we rolled out a program called Connect Me at Taco Bell that will allow someone to drive into a drive-through, open up their app, share a code with the drive-through person or the voice AI agent, and then that personalization experience begins right then and there. The digital menu board changes, the voice AI changes, and everything is personalized to that customer. It's a major goal of ours. And of course, continue to leverage new technology as they become available. And to help us do that journey, of course, we brought Amelia along the way.
So I can talk to some of the challenges, and then we'll talk a little bit about the technology that brought this to life. So I think first and foremost, and maybe the most obvious, is that the drive-through is not a call center. It's a very challenging environment. All of our modern phones have actually really great noise cancellation right built into the device. When you have a drive-through, you have a speaker box that's basically outdoors. You have cars and trucks whizzing by on the throughway, kids screaming in the back seat, and we've even been to stores that are like near to airports where you can hear the planes coming overhead. So it's a very challenging environment from a speech-to-text perspective, and even once you crack the speech-to-text challenge, from a natural language understanding perspective, it's a very complex task. It's not as linear as a call center conversation, like make a payment or get my balance. Oftentimes, when folks pull up to the drive-through, they don't know what they want. They don't even know everything that's on the menu. And they may have questions about things that are actually on the menu. And then, as Rocky was saying, at the end of the day, we need to be, very, very sensitive to the customer experience, right? At the end of the day, we're focused on increasing the throughput of the drive-through and increasing the bag size and the revenue that we're able to generate on a per-store basis. And then the third piece there is, of course, the crew members or the employees. You want them happy, right? And the whole thing here is we're not actually replacing the humans. We're making their lives easier, right? So it's the customer, it's the complex environment, and it's ultimately making sure that we're not only making the customer happy, but we're making the employees happy. So some of the keys to success, as I mentioned, the drive-through is hard, and some of the things that we were able to bring to the table that allowed us to deliver the results that we did was Amelia's specialized voice models. So these are built on massive amounts of data that allow us to really hone and tune the speech-to-text engine so that it can perform in these highly demanding environments. And that covers all types of accents, slang, lingos, everything that you would encounter out in the wild. But then also, as I said, the noise removal, right? How do you factor in? How do you know when actually someone's speaking to the speaker box versus speaking to somebody in the passenger seat, right? And with regards to what they may want, or someone in the back seat. So being able to understand when the customer is actually speaking to the bot, who they're speaking to, and what they're speaking about. And then, of course, with voice, you don't have room for latency, right? We're having a conversation. You might have a couple milliseconds before you need to respond back until you get into like the awkward silence, right? So you need to have a solution that not only can deliver the accuracy, the high accuracy in a demanding environment, but you need a solution that can do so with basically zero latency, right? So that you're, again, the conversation that you're facilitating is as human as possible, and ultimately what you're driving at are those key business benefits, which is high order accuracy, speed, throughput, and increasing the revenue. So as I said at the beginning, Amelia is a fully native platform vendor, so we have everything in-house. We don't depend on any third parties for any piece of the solution, and that's really what allows us to go the extra mile and manipulate the technology and achieve the results that other more, let's say, multi-purpose or generic AI solutions out there would be limited to achieve. And it's not just the natural language or the speech to text. There's also the analytics that goes around with it, right? So when you're scaling to hundreds of stores, each store may have a different variation of a menu, limited time offers, availability, things come out of stock and in stock based on a store. So you need to be able to not only have the analytics to understand what stores or locations may need some additional tuning, right, to improve the results. So the analytics gives you that 30,000 foot view to understand how the entire operation is going. Slide.
And as far as results so far in stores where we've deployed voice AI, we're actually beginning to see increased team member retention. This is going back to that team member experience, which we feel strongly also will eventually lead to better customer experiences.
Is that 15 minutes? Yeah. What? I think they have some questions.
Oh.
Sure, let's go for it. We may not be able to answer all the questions, but you can give us let's have some questions. Yeah. Yeah. I do, but I'm not allowed to share them. Taco Bell will share them in their upcoming press releases. But what I can tell you is that, as Rocky said, we've started in one store. We're now into many hundreds, and we're going to be continuing that scale. So that wouldn't be happening if the results were the uncontained sessions were not proving out the business case there. No, it's not for less people. The stores maintain the same number of employees, so they're not decreasing any headcount. But the people that were previously taking the orders were already multitasking, doing a lot of things at one time, and that was sort of going back to Rocky's point around the employee satisfaction. Right, so if you're doing less things at a single time, your cognitive load as a person is less, so you're not going to be as stressed out, meaning you're going to have a happier employee, which is the idea.
Just keep checking. Every day.
We can take one more. Actually, yeah.
So we have 30 languages today. As I said, everything's native and proprietary of Omelia, so we've built all of those languages and we continue to build more languages. What was the other part of the question? Yeah, so I don't know if I'm supposed to answer that. As Omelia, we provide cloud and on-premise solutions, is what I can say. And I'd be happy to talk to you after.
Rocky, do you want to answer that further?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm allowed to say either. I think it's okay. Yeah, we're largely cloud. I mean, yeah.
I don't think that's controversial, but it's good.
I don't think so either. Yeah.
That's great. Cool. We'll take one last question, and then we'll head to the next session. Go ahead. Yeah, great question.
It's a good question. Not sure what I can share with you on that on the recorded session, but we can talk about it after.
Let's say it's
Yeah,
a user
nervous.
experience problem, shall
Yeah.
we? Okay.
Are we, sorry, say that last part again?
Yeah.
Helping the crew?
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, using voice AI internally for communication? Yeah, we are looking at, we're definitely going to explore voice AI outside of the drive-thru and putting it in other places.
Fantastic. Guys, thank you so much for that fascinating talk, and it's good to see brands actually deploying this stuff at scale and in real examples, so thank you for sharing.
Thank
Will
you.
give a big hand for both the team from Amelia and from Taco Bell. Thank you.